Welcome back to RotoCityTech. Today we are going to revisit an old video called Pros, Cons, and Changes. My first pro for the Grey Wolf 23 dBH is just the overall space. When you're used to, like our old camper, the Wolf Pup with no slide, and it was only 7 feet wide to begin with instead of 8 like the Grey Wolf is, you are very limited on your space. When two people would have to pass by each other to go from one end of the camper to the other, you pretty much had to wait, or like a shimmy past one another. My second pro is the second entrance. This camper, as y'all have seen in the tour video, has an entrance in the back that goes straight to the bathroom and an entrance in the front which goes to the main cabin. So we have made good use out of that second door, especially while we're camping at the lake or something and we needed to go in and use the bathroom. You can just go straight in and not have to walk through the whole camper. Third pro is the refrigerator size. This thing, I believe, is 11 cubic feet, and it fits a ton of stuff in the fridge. And then the freezer, which is the most surprising thing, we can fit, what was it, 2 20-pound bags?
No, 1 20-pound bag or 2
10s. So 2 10-pound bags of ice in the freezer, which we don't keep a lot of frozen stuff in the freezer because we don't camp long enough to really fill that up. But we have used it for when we leave on a trip, we fill the coolers with ice and then we put some more bags of ice in our freezer, especially going to the lake, and then we don't have to worry about getting ice again. So another pro is the shower size. So you wouldn't really know this if you just came from your house to this shower, but coming from the Wolf Pup, it was more narrow. This one is a bit wider. You can actually turn around a little bit easier, and it's got that cutout in the top, like the sunroof kind of thing, where, of course, Kelsey doesn't have to worry about it as much. But, and I was short enough in the Wolf Pup, I didn't hit my head, but still, you felt the presence of the ceiling there. Here, you've got that little cutout, and it works really well. Master bedroom. So the layout of the master bedroom is completely different from the Wolf Pup. The bed goes long ways with the camper, so on both sides of the bed the two people can access, which before on the Wolf Pup it was horizontal, and then whoever slept towards the front of the camper had to crawl over the other person if they needed to get out of bed. Here you both have an entrance to the master bedroom and you can just get in bed. The U-dinette where we are sitting is another pro, because the Wolf Pup had just a normal dinette, but since it was a more narrow camper, it would only fit 2 people, 2 adults basically. Here, I think we could probably get 5 adults if we really wanted to. Plus it's on the slide out, which gives us that space. The sink in this camper, so it's an apron style sink or a farm style sink, but it's huge. And again, we compared to the Wolf Pup because that was our last camper. It was just that small, real shallow. This is actually like an actual sink. The depth and the width of all that is kind of like your house. Now it's only single basin, but still, that sink has been awesome for us. And then my last pro before I hand it off to Kelsey is the turbo jack. I'm not sure if I've shown that in a video or not yet. I think I did talk about it in the tour. But I was kind of really wanting to have an electric jack or a battery powered jack, tongue jack. But I have found with this, what they call the turbo jack, I don't really need it. You just you hook up the same adapter you use for your stability jacks, and you can zip it up and down real quick. And you don't have to worry about having it hook onto your battery or any of that. You just, as long as you have a drill, you can use it.
My pros are the fireplace heater thing works really well and really quickly. So whenever you are cold and you need that to warm you up, it works really well. And the other thing that I had was in the dinette, like underneath this seat right here and the one that Hank is on, the drawers are really deep. Like they go all the way back here. And so that's really nice because I can fit a lot of stuff in there. Which brings me to just saying that the storage space overall in this camper is awesome. if y'all saw my how I pack the wolf pup video, you saw that I had to get pretty creative with fitting things in the camper. But in this one, I don't really have to get creative. I mean, I haven't even been able to fill all of the things yet. So I guess I just need to go shopping.
At Dollar Tree, maybe.
But yeah, so the storage is super awesome. Also, I like zebra blinds right here behind me. I like the, you know, we can have them go all the way up. We can have them come down and it's like pretty dark in here, or if we want just a little bit of light, we can do that. So that's really nice. I really enjoy the zebra blinds. That's like one of the first things I do whenever we camp is I come in and I open the blinds. And then one of my pros is the mattress in the master was pretty decent. We ended up getting a topper for it anyways because we're bougie, but the mattress was really decent whenever we went and got the camper and stayed in it. It was pretty good.
Yeah.
Then the amount of outlets and charging ports in this camper like is abundant. They're everywhere. And that's really nice because of the little fans that Hank got to help circulate the air and make it cool in here. They all can just plug into a USB port, and so because we have so many of those, we were able to put a lot of those little fans in here, and it helped cool this thing off pretty fast.
Yep.
And then the kitchen prep space, that was a requirement of mine, was that I didn't want it to be just like flush one thing, and so I really like the kitchen prep space. So the cons, the middle part of the dinette, like where I'm sitting right here, is really hard to get to. The storage part under here, it is awesome that it has storage under here, but in order to get to it, I have to take all of the cushions off, which I guess isn't that difficult, but yeah. I mean, it's like there's usually stuff here, and so I have to take all of them off, and then that's how I get to right here. So I've just had to put things under here that we don't really use a whole lot. Another con, which I think Hank has kind of figured out a solution to that, this con, but it was really difficult to get this thing to cool off. The first like several times we took it out, if it had been sitting without air conditioner, I mean, it was just almost miserable.
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
And it would take hours for it to cool off. It would take, I mean, probably 2 or 3. One time it took like almost 5 or 6 hours to cool off. Another con that I have is, this is just kind of a nitpicky thing. In the master, in between like the bed and the little wall that is right there, the partition wall, there's not enough space for the comforter to go down and just like hang. It like kind of sits up, and we have a normal comforter, I would say. It's not like a quilt, it is a comforter, but it can't like go down in between the wall, and it doesn't hang, so that kind of bothers me. There is some weird storage in the bottom cabinet over in the cabinet space over here. I mean, the cabinet is like that big, and you open it, and then there's like a part of the step from the slide in there. It's kind of one of the most awkward storage spaces that I've really had to fill, and I've had a hard time figuring out how to even utilize that. So if you have this camper or another camper that has a weird thing like that, let me know what you put in there, because I'm just kind of like, I don't know what to do. Another thing that we do not really like in the camper is the skylight, because we don't use it, and it just lets light in and makes it hotter in here, so we've had it covered up literally since we got it.
Yeah. Yep.
I guess another con that I have that I just kind of thought of was the windows on the doors were a cool idea in theory, but we ended up having to spend well, we didn't have to spend because we had that credit from the company, but I mean, you would have to spend more money to get the thin shades, and we keep those shut the whole time also. So I don't really like the windows on the doors.
Yeah. My cons, the 12-volt fridge. I see how it could be a pro, because obviously you get a lot of space.
You did list it as a pro.
Right. But only 12 volts. Like,
okay, there you go.
It only being powered by 12 volt or plugged in. So basically not being propane powered as well. I see the pro is that you get more storage in the same space, because the propane system is not taking up all that valuable space where you have that compressor and whatnot. The main con is that we haven't figured out how to keep power in our camper when we're boondocking, which, as you know, if you've been watching my solar videos, we are in the process of solving. That leads me to the next con of the stock battery. Maybe each dealership has different batteries that they're going to put on these campers, but the one we have, I think it's just junk. I don't know. It like doesn't keep it charged well. It's your normal 12 volt battery, and we've got to figure that out. So dealerships aren't going to change the battery that they put on there when you buy them, so it's still a con to me. But there's one spot on the floor that's creaky, and I don't know what it is, but since new, and I've read in the forums that other people have had this issue, but you'll step in this one spot, like right in the middle, pretty much right where all the traffic goes, and it just kind of creaks. I don't know what that is. I've got to look into that, but that's definitely a con. The outdoor storage versus the Wolf Pup. I mean, that's the only reason it's a con to me, is because the Wolf Pup had that big cargo door underneath the bunks. And I miss that, because the cargo door here is really small. I wish there was some way that they could have incorporated that big door and made it a foldable bottom bunk, just like the Wolf Pup was. But I don't really see any of the bigger campers doing that. I think that's just a selling point on those smaller campers. I don't know. It seems like it could be done. The backup camera quality, I know it's cheap and it was free when we bought the camper, so I can't be that disappointed, but it's like it buffers a lot or something, and it's only supposed to work when you're backing up. So it doesn't work when you're traveling down the road to look behind you or anything. You can't really rely on it, because I'll get to a situation where I start backing up and I can't get the camera to connect. It'll connect for a second and it'll freeze or something like that. So moving on to the changes. So these are changes that I either have already made or that I'm going to make. And the first one is there is a wood support in the cargo area. And I'm going to make a video about this, but I'm going to take that out, because the wood support goes straight down and it really hinders the ability to slide anything in there. You have to work around it back here underneath the bunk. My second change is there's no solar input, and I understand maybe people didn't use it as much as companies thought. You know, on the Wolf Pup I had that solar input, and I used it because I converted my water pump on my fresh water getter that I made, and I would plug it in and it could power my water pump, so I could use it to transfer water from that to my camper while we're boondocking. I used that solar input for that because it was connected to the battery. I didn't use it necessarily for solar, but it was just like a power input, and it was just handy to have. This camper doesn't have that, because it has the juice pack already on it. So in a video to come, I put one on there so that I could power my water pump. Better access to the juice pack. I'm looking at expanding the solar here, and as I was checking in and looking at the current juice pack and the solar controller, I was hoping that the panel that it was screwed into would be removable, but it's like part of the front, and I don't really know. I wish there was better access to that so that I could unhook the stock system and incorporate it all into one system, but I'm not sure how I'm going to do that yet. And then the last thing I could think of was upgraded speakers. Inside they're okay, but the speakers outside, I mean, depending on the music you listen to, they suck. Which they sucked on the Wolf Pup too, I guess, but it should be an easy enough upgrade for us to do. So look for that in a video coming up. Now, coming up soon, there will be a video on the changes that I've done, the mods that I've done on this camper already. Needless to say though, we love this camper. We loved the Wolf Pup a lot, and I think we love this one even more. It's got so much to offer, and I'm pretty sure this is probably our last camper, which may not be well for the channel because our whole channel is based on camping and RVs and stuff, and this is our last one, but who knows what's going to happen. Anyways, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as our old pros and cons and changes video, and stay tuned for the mod video. And don't forget, click on any of the Amazon links down below. As an Amazon associate, we do make commission off of those clicks if you decide to buy something. Like us on Facebook, or follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll catch y'all next time.